We're live on the.
We're talking more politics than NBC did during their election night coverage, and that was free.
I didn't even watch.
Hey, man, you get what you pay for with that coverage.
What? I don't even remember what I watched. It was whichever one was actually broadcasting on YouTube.
It was NBC.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
it was
no.
NBC.
I was watching C-SPAN.
Well, I was in the emergency room yet again, and it was the only way I could, watch any of the election coverage. And the whole time I was just kind of sitting there going, well, fuck, here we go again.
You're just wishing that the doctors would fuck up and kill you.
Well, they weren't working on me, but yes.
Did you go, oh, here we go again. And then Coolio jumped in the room?
Yes. Well, no, that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, here it goes. And then Sinbad showed
up. Wait, Sinbad? You mean the comedian or the...
Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, Sinbad, I'm pretty sure Sinbad was on the show, too.
At one point, he was like a guest spot.
Maybe I'm thinking of.
He was actually popular.
He was definitely on that, on All That, and was with them in the Good Burger sketch.
Dude, Sinbad was everywhere in the 90s.
Speaking of me, did you hear that Chappelle is hosting Saturday Night Live this Saturday?
Oh,
shit.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
There's going to be some hot fire coming from that.
Well, I'm not so sure. Because did you see what he said about Hillary and all that?
No.
I think he's going to pick fun at both of them. I think he's going to be...
Probably.
I think he's just going to tear them both apart, honestly.
Long story short, he was like, I voted for Hillary, but I have a bad taste about it. Like, she's obviously not right. Et cetera, et cetera. And he actually defended Trump a little bit. He was like, when people were accusing him of stuff, it's like he said, now I forget what he said, but it was something like he's been accused of it, but people act like I forget what he said. I gotta look it up.
He probably just called for reason.
Basically.
All
right, so let's. So okay,
I like Reason, but they're kind of biased.
Do I need to make the Jew jokes? Really? All right.
I'm in no mood, white boy.
Exactly.
Oh, it was.
I'm in no. Can we start the show?
It was basically.
We've been on the air.
He was like, when you're a star, they let you do it, and that implies they let him do it. It wasn't assault or anything. He said it was gross, but it wasn't like people were trying to spin it into something of assault or whatever.
Salt? Oh, there's lots of salt.
The media spinning something? No. Come on.
Not since they abolished that act back in the 80s to make media compelled to tell the truth. Where they could only report on factual things. That's a thing, by the way. Go look that up. And there's also a thing that banned Big Pharma from advertising to consumers too. But that got torn up in the air back in the 80s. I wonder what president was there for that.
They voted down the ordinance that would force adult films in California to require condoms.
Yeah, but that thing was all fucked up though, because the guy that wrote it was like, okay, here's the Proposition 60. It makes me the fucking condom czar of all porn done in California. And by the way, if you just want to stuff your wife and record it to watch later, I'm in charge of that too, for the rest of my life. And removing me would be really hard. And also, there's no plan to replace me if I am removed.
Hard.
You know what? Let's start the show.
You don't want to replace a condom after it's removed, though, right?
Yeah. Let's.
I don't know. Ask your girlfriend.
Oh! Well, that didn't play.
Right. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 223 of Smark Snark. My name is Gunner, and today I'd like to first off thank podcasting.com for our theme. You can give us a call on Skype, that's SRS Podcast. We got a Facebook and Twitter too, Smark Snark. Follow us there, and a Patreon as well, which gets a bunch of extra content to this, especially the video feed of us linking links in in Discord here. We also have a Discord link somewhere around here. Maybe Yankum should tweet that out from the Twitter, but we will see about that later. In the meantime, and in the between time, as one of us used to say, I'm Gunner, and that's Omega BR, who is just completely either microphone not working or just not paying attention to this. So I blame our wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yankum DDS.
Oh, really? Because I was going to blame go fuck yourself.
As we probably should at this particular juncture. There's also a Vassar, who
did not vote for Hillary.
And a WSC
Nobody
master.
cares. This is a wrestling podcast.
Speaking of wrestling, Matt Hardy got thousands of votes.
And save us, dog, please.
I'm just excited for UFC and NXT TakeOver, really. That's kind of where I'm at. Especially with all the crazy shit going on with Conor and fucking Alvarez just throwing shit at each other.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
That was crazy. All right, so first little news bit here. Roman Reigns was just pulled off the European tour recently, and according to the Melts, it's not for injury reasons.
Drugs!
Is it his attitude or is it drugs?
Or is
Both.
it just they don't want him eviscerated in front of European crowds?
Yes.
All of the above, I'm going to guess.
I don't know if it's for drugs, dude. Do you think he's dumb enough to... I mean...
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
You just answered your own question there,
I mean,
but
seriously, you'd have to be a dipshit to even try anything like that again. But I mean...
This is Roman Reigns you're talking about here.
I know, but seriously, you'd think a guy who's gotten that far is at least some... Yeah, never mind.
I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And you can't throw that
I think life has proven that crazier things have happened. So,
yeah, that's to say the least. Rey Mysterio's son Dominic will be training to become a professional wrestler as well, and XFL's 30 for 30 debuts in February. Just wanted to smoosh those news bits in there. No reaction?
Really excited for the XFL doc, purely because of what they're going to do is they're going to showcase all the cool shit that the XFL did first that the NFL stole as soon as they died.
Yep.
Like the cam that floats over the field. That was XFL.
Yep.
Should be cool. USFL one was great too. So
I am very excited about that. All right. What, Vassar?
I was just going to say the thing that we said during the pre-show, and that I hope that we get Dominic Guerrero and side of
the temple
in the temple instead of going as Dominic.
You're not my real Padre. You're not my real Padre.
That would be the greatest angle ever.
Fits perfectly with the whole Lost Guerreros thing they were talking about. It'd be funny. It'd be great, actually.
I could see it happening too in a year. Season 6 Lucha Underground. Watch for it. The WON reports that WWE is discussing plans for different potential shows involving the two. Involving the two. By the two, they mean JBL and Paul Heyman. One show pitched was something of an ESPN Pardon the Interruption, which features the host talking and arguing about top stories of the day in sports and other stuff. Also, Hot 97's Peter Rosenberg was being pitched as a possible reporter for the show.
That's if he doesn't have to flee to Germany. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I had to make the joke. I had to. It's done. It's over. Let's move on.
I did not see it coming.
I say right before we were going to start, my router crashes. I think a certain someone hacked into it.
Oh, was it the 400-pound hacker 4chan sitting on his bed?
I think it was the AI known as Read It.
Ah.
Who is the hacker 4chan? All right.
But at least on Taboo Tuesday, they didn't pick verbal debate.
But yeah, would you guys be excited about more JBL and Paul Heyman content?
Yes.
More
I guess so,
JBL content, kind of, but not. I mean, definitely the Heyman. Also, fuck that. They're gonna do it as pardon the interruption thing, because that's what this show is, and fuck that, because they're totally fucking jacking her gimmick.
I want them to get
that we totally did not jack.
Get a third person like Lawler,
Jacking it.
since he's just doing the pre-show anyway.
Might as well be jacking it in San Francisco.
Do Lawler?
Fuck.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry,
sure. Just making sure. All right, get Lawler, JBL, and Heyman, and do Wild and Crazy Kids with wrestling fans.
I mean, I don't know.
You know what that is, don't you? Moving on.
Nope.
Oh, that's sad.
All right, Chris Jericho and Sin
kind of
Cara.
This is why this country's going to.
Jericho and Sin Cara reportedly got in a fight while on the talent bus as it traveled from Leeds to Glasgow. Apparently, Cara was making annoying noises despite several people telling him to stop, leading to Jericho more forcefully telling him to stop, which led to Cara throwing hands at him and Jericho biting Cara on the finger as people pulled them apart. Cara was then kicked off the bus. He has apparently been ordered to take anger management classes as a result of the incident and was exiled to the SmackDown side for the rest of the tour. This story.
If it was in the 90s, not only would have Sin Cara been buried, but there would have been coke and a hooker in there too, somewhere.
How does Chris Jericho keep winding up in these situations?
How does Sin Cara keep ending up in these situations?
It's the gimmick.
This is the third fight.
No. The gimmick was defending catering. This was not in catering, unless there was food on the bus that I don't know about. The gimmick was defending catering. There's no catering involved.
No.
This sounds like a schoolyard fight. They got on a bus. Sin Cara's probably making noises, and
Jericho biting.
Like this sounds like kids doing things.
I can see Jericho doing it too, like screaming and then biting and then getting a hold of anything and then just biting the finger. And like there's no blood or anything, but you hear Cara just yelling "puta" in fucking Spanish, and yes.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing they exiled him to SmackDown, because it sounds like the whole damn division is getting exiled to SmackDown anyway. Yep. So hey, maybe we could see the Lucha Dragons come back. I mean,
they're thinking doing the double swap. They're going to do a double swap, so the Intercontinental title will go over to Raw. Then SmackDown will get the Luchas.
I don't know if that's a fair trade though, because you really want the US and the IC titles on Raw.
Yep, because you got 3 hours.
Yeah,
I do. I purely want to just to prove forever, once and for all, that the U.S. title is not part of the Triple Crown. Because then it would be the third belt.
I could see them putting the U.S. title back over on SmackDown. at some point shortly, but not right now. Moving on. So TNA. TNA held a conference call on Monday with the roster described as a rah-rah call to encourage people over Anthem joining as a partner, including Eric Nodum as a member of the board of managers. Dixie confirmed Billy Corgan is no longer in the company, and that head writer David Lagana has announced his resignation. Going forward, it'll be a collaborative effort with John Gebrick, Matt Conway, Madison Rain, and with other writers to come. Yo, hey there, Omega, go apply to TNA to be a writer. Jesus. I mean, if they're going down to Matt Conway and Madison Rain for writers, like, are you fucking kidding me? No offense to Madison Rain. Maria has come out to say she's leaving wrestling soon to go back to school. And Davey Richards tweeted that 2017 will be his last year. Al Snow revealed on Facebook that the Al Snow Wrestling Academy in London is now the official global development center for TNA. So you got a little shindy over in London. You call it a global development center? What? Really?
I mean, for TNA right now, that is global development.
Al Snow working out of a gym in London, training like 10 people. That's your global development right there.
Well, I mean, their international headquarters was in a strip mall in Nashville, wasn't it?
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Al had to give up his less than lucrative career working for Lazy Boy. They had him on the floor working at the Lazy Boy sales place, but the guy just can't sell chairs.
I think everything at this point with TNA is just kind of like sad. Maybe not sad, but just like it's beating a horse that's so dead that it's bones.
You ever see that kid at the science fair who didn't have the poster board in the back, that threefold poster board? And he had like something else, like maybe a little banner he built himself or something. And like, you know, it's like written in crayon. It looks like crap. And you know that he spent really, really hard trying to actually make it look nice when really it just looks like complete doo-doo. You do that, and then you dump like 3 metric tons of dog shit on top of him. And that's what TNA looks like right now.
Poor Al Snow.
Poor Al Snow. Speaking of poor Al Snow, Rhino won just 35.6% of the vote for his bid for House of Representative in the 15th District of Michigan. Poor Rhino.
That's actually really good.
He was the Republican candidate.
I mean, you got to figure. Wait, he was running as the Republican, or he was running against
as the.
He was running as the Republican.
As the Republican, yes, I think. I'm pretty sure he was like the main party candidate.
Well, depending on which district he's in, you know,
that's
right.
It's essentially a suburb of Detroit.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah. He was more than likely not going to win, but not a terrible showing all around for really a dude who has no experience in politics, as far as I remember.
Yeah,
right.
for a guy running his very first campaign with his politics in that kind of district, yeah, that's a really good showing.
Plus, he got him a job with WWE, so
right. Fun fact, by the way, and I learned this today for our politic friends out there. So George Washington, his first election, he lost because his opponent, when he had his rally, bought everybody cider and booze and food and that kind of thing, and George Washington didn't bring anything because he didn't know he was supposed to. His next election, he brought something like 40 gallons worth of cider to this thing and like a whole bunch of food and whatnot, and he won that one easily. So that's how George Washington got his political start. There you go. Now you know. Alberto Patron is in talks for a morning host position in Mexico, equivalent to the Today Show or Good Morning America. Yes! CCC! I would love to see that.
Buenos Morningos, Mexico?
No.
Buenos dias.
Should be cool.
Do we get to see Paige in a really skimpy outfit?
Yeah.
We get to see we get to see Paige in really skimpy outfits giving BJs for fucking $10 to get crack.
Paige on Sabado Gigante.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh Lord. I don't even speak Spanish, but I'll watch that show.
Sabado Gigante. Speaking of Mexico, AAA is getting a lot of heat for copywriting alternative names for wrestlers that have been left before they can, such as Sexy Dulce for Sexy Star. What? Really?
Wait, really? That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, like names that they've never used and never will use. It's basically names that they know the people who have left are going to use.
Yeah, that's I mean, I get why they would do it. It's bullshit though.
Yeah, I mean,
why would she use the name Sexy Dulce? That's candy.
Well,
because you can't use Star now because AAAs are jerks. I don't know.
AAA is getting damn desperate.
I'm surprised Gunner knows as much about Mexico stuff as he does. What with the only exposure to Spanish he's ever had was a woman calling him Leche Russ.
That was so reaching that you'd have to go across the border to actually get the point of that joke. Hulk Hogan has settled his legal issues with Gawker, rumored to be around $31 million of the original judgment. So not the $140 million that they were worried about, but that means Gawker's out of business.
That number doesn't include the 45%, I believe, that he would get if Gawker is sold.
It's going to be out. Last I checked, right?
Yeah,
it was already sold. I thought Univision bought out.
Again, the bureaucratic process takes time, so more than likely, yeah, that's the next step is getting whatever percentage of money that is, and Univision will try to fuck with those numbers as much as possible and pay as little as possible. We saw this whole shit with TNA.
It's not all that much different. I mean, if you go look on Deadspin, they have all those little splinter blogs, the Concourse, the Slot, that basically are the same people saying the same things.
Yes, Omega BR pays attention to the Slot. Speaking of the Slot, Vince McMahon is still in charge of both Raw and SmackDown. No surprises there. And reportedly laughs like a maniac whenever Seth Rollins uses the term sparkle crotch.
That sounds like Vince.
Does sound like Vince, and it pisses me off.
You know what doesn't sound like Vince, though? He's in control of SmackDown. Why is SmackDown so much better of a show than Raw, then?
2 hours.
I mean, literally,
2 hours.
Just literally 2 hours. That extra hour, yeah.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, this is what it really is, and we can get into this in the 15-minute. I believe that they want to get as many people watching Raw at certain points, but they want people to watch SmackDown completely because it is a second show, and USA could just cut them. So they've got to make it worth their while on Tuesday, but Monday ain't going anywhere. See my point? Anyways, last little bit here. DDP's daughter, Brittany Page, has announced a new women's wrestling league with Brooke Hogan, Lacey Von Erich, Roddy Piper's daughter Ariel Toombs, and Bianca Brigitte Van Dam, daughter of Jean-Claude. Brutus Beefcake daughters, Atlanta's Leslie, and Eddie Guerrero's daughter Shawl. So a new women's wrestling league with a whole bunch of people.
Brooke Hogan's still trying to ride Daddy's coattails.
Fucking literally the TNA of women's wrestling right there. Look at those shitty. Do you remember Lacey Von Erich in TNA? She was god.
No. She peaked in WrestleLicious. No one.
I haven't seen it, but I assume that's probably.
Oh my god, you haven't seen WrestleLicious. All right.
I've seen the
eventually
preview.
we'll get back around to that series we were going to do where we commentated on bad matches. Let's put that on the list.
Yep. You get to watch WrestleLicious there, dog. Are you excited?
Actually, I love shitty wrestling, dude. There's always a soft spot in my heart for a really bad match. As long as I can laugh at it.
It can't be Kennel from Hell match bad, because that isn't even laughably bad.
No, that is laughably bad. When they cut to a shot of a dog taking a massive shit.
Okay. Yeah, the dog taking
that
a
was
shit
great.
Go listen to Fuller's commentary on it. It's great, too.
15-minute time limit. Ring that bell. Come on, Yankum. Oh, wait.
Give me just a second.
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding.
I had to reboot the thing, and then I'm on my mobile because I had to fill my tea glass.
Excuses.
So,
listen to these excuses.
Also,
does anyone know how good Shell Guerrero is in the ring? I know she was in NXT for a while, but I never remember seeing her much.
She's
I remember being excited about there being a Guerrero, but I don't remember actually seeing any of her matches.
She just tried to fit in like NXT, and I think she got kicked out or something like that, or she decided that she wanted to go into modeling or singing or something like that.
Yeah.
15-minute time limit. This week we're talking about nothing, apparently, because I don't know exactly what we're talking about, but oh god. Okay, so technically it's WWE related, so I guess we could talk about it. WWE Hall of Famer becomes the president of the United States.
No.
Oh no. Let's
like
there.
What?
There's been way too much salt on everyone's side that this has just been one of those things. It's like, wrestling is one of my few solaces in life. Let's discuss anything else.
What we should really be talking about is the whole 205 Live, the possibility of switching the Cruiserweight division over and moving the U.S. title back over to Raw. And
okay.
This is kind of like a breaking point. Oh, god damn it. A watershed moment. There we go. In this new brand split, because they're figuring out what works and what doesn't. And I think they realized that the Cruiserweights would work a lot better on SmackDown, and I completely agree.
I've been saying that from day one. Morrow called the CWC to perfection, and him calling Cruiserweight matches on SmackDown would be perfect. And since he and Graves are going to be teaming up for 205 Live, it's going to be doubly perfect. 205 Live is what we've been waiting for, but I'm just fearful for it because it's like I really hope that they're just not going to be not delegating, but relegating the Cruiserweights to their own like little universe. Like, well, they really should be affecting the. No, go ahead. Sorry.
The problem is that they are in their own little universe with this particular 205 thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they have a whole hour show to themselves, which is what they should have, to be perfectly honest. But they don't want to put it on SmackDown because they don't have a TV deal for that. But they'll put it on the network so that you get to subscribe to the network, so that you'd be able to, pay attention to all the storylines that are going on. Then when you have the one storyline, one match on SmackDown that you're going to have for the week. To hook you into the series, which, Talking Smack did a really good number, and I would imagine that this will do a really good number too. I just find it strange that they decided to move it, they moved it over here. I called it, by the way. Called it, shit.
I support the Cruiserweights moving to SmackDown on the virtue that, they just seem to fit better. It gives another element to SmackDown where, I've said this since the beginning. I think 3 hours is too many and 2 hours is not quite enough, at least when it comes to the talent on each brand. But I don't really like the idea of the U.S. title going to Raw because it kind of feels like you're replacing one Band-Aid with another. Where you got I meant IC and US on the same show, and then it's kind of like, well, that's how it was before, but at least you had enough people but everybody was on the same show, so it kind of made sense. But now you've got Roman Reigns as the U.S. champion, and then let's say Sami Zayn becomes the IC champion, and then it kind of it makes the random Sami Zayn match more meaningful, but at the same time, also kind of not really. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and to me, it seems like it's like, what are they going to do? They're going to put one or two fucking whatchamacallits. Every hour you're going to get a title match or a title segment.
Man, they need it.
I mean, the ratings do, but what the fuck is going on?
Well, I think, like I said, I think the bigger issue is that with Raw, you kind of like this past Monday's Raw was one of those shows where you look at the clock and you're like, man, is this still got an hour left? And they do these extended segments that they either work or they don't. Like the New Day coming out with the Braveheart thing after all the tag teams talk, and then the match afterwards, which the club wins, even though they've been on a huge losing streak.
Hello, everybody. I have a few things to say. Number one.
Yep. Nope. Moving on.
And that was that.
I'm very excited. Can I speak, please?
Anyway.
Yep.
So
that's weird. Okay.
That's what happens when you invite people into your live radio show, I guess.
That does. That was strange. Very interesting. Who the hell were they?
One was called Nana, and then Sleeping Boys. And
then... two of them got banned, and one of them got kicked.
Yep. That's fun.
That was weird.
All right, so
see, this is welcome to Trump America, everybody. This is
no.
Women, girls screaming all the time. Anyway.
No, let's not, please.
No, God, no. Why?
You know what? When I watched the announcement, I was watching MSNBC, and Rachel Maddow was trying so hard not to freak out on her colleague. She was making the exact same face. You know when Charlotte is doing a promo and the whole crowd is chanting for Bayley, and she's like smiling really wide because she's not really sure what to say? That exact same face. But anyway, I'm just saying,
Does anyone know who that guy was in the suit who had absolutely no idea what he was talking about on NBC? And Tom Brokaw had to take minutes out of his time to say, "You're stupid. Shut up. Get off my show. Let the adults talk." It was pretty great.
It was kind of worth all the
crazy week. I'm actually kind of not to skew the subject again, but I'm actually a little surprised that WWE never acknowledged really anything about this election on camera. There hasn't been any SmackDown Your Vote, which there hasn't been for a long time now. But I mean, it was pretty much completely, which is probably the best move, to be honest. But they are having a State of the Universe address this Monday.
Oh God!
Which presumably is going to, since Steph invited Foley and Shane to Raw, probably involving them. It's going to be something of a little debate or something. I don't know. So that's my awkward transition to go back to Raw versus SmackDown, which again, I really and I said this from the beginning again too. I really do not care if Raw is better than SmackDown or SmackDown's better than Raw, and it's only natural that they go that route for Survivor Series. But at the same time, again, we really don't have any reason to care. Like all the storylines get smashed together, and it doesn't really work. And Ellsworth is the mascot for Team SmackDown, and people got kicked off of Team Raw, and Corbin got quote unquote injured, and so he's off Team SmackDown. So Shane's going to be on Team SmackDown, and what's the point of that, by the way? I mean,
fucking just boring is what it is.
Yeah,
so you guys aren't feeling the Survivor Series hype?
Really not. I mean, it's more of the same kind of prepackaged, well, it's Survivor Series, let's do 5-on-5. It doesn't really matter what our current storylines are. We can just pair guys together and say, you got to do it for the pride of your team and your brand now. And if they had some, I mean, there's still storylines going on. The whole, Jericho Owens best friends, and can they trust the former Shield members, and can the former Shield members even trust each other? But at the end of the day, it's like we've seen enough of these Survivor Series matches where you can kind of predict where they're going to go, and it's almost impossible to care about the tag team or the women's ones because, the tag team, the qualifying matches last about
3 minutes,
literally 2 minutes, not even 3, 2.
I got up for the. Oh God, who is Naomi facing? Carmella? Like, I watched her entrance. I got up to get a drink, and as soon as I sat back down, the match was over. Like, and you know what else is putting a damper on the enthusiasm? 4 hours. 4 hours. Knowing that that's going to be another 4-hour pay-per-view is just one of those things where it's like, I don't need 4 hours of this shit.
You ready for this?
Ready
for this?
Go for it.
4 hours of pay-per-view, 5 hours if you include the pre-show, 4.5 hours of Raw with the half an hour of Raw beforehand and talking smack afterwards and the overrun. 3 hours of SmackDown, 2 hours of SmackDown, an hour of 205, which I think starts that week, and then talking smack on top of that. So 3.5 hours, 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours to 5 hours.
Let me tell you something. I am completely not ready to watch any of
God.
that. Nor will I.
And then imagine if you're a wrestling fan and you're like, man, I should watch NXT. Man, I should watch Lucha Underground. Man, I should watch TNA.
Let's not forget that this weekend is NXT. Or not
God.
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Next weekend is NXT, but
you're right. That's kind of a big deal too. They've been building. The problem with NXT is, they basically secure the card like a month or two in advance, and then it's almost like with so many NXT stars called up, it's like the current crop are kind of like, once you secure your takeover matches, it's almost like the TV show is just, whatever, build to the takeover event. It's almost worse for NXT because, again, not only do they tape so many in advance, but there's only so many takeovers of the year. There's, 6?
Right. 4. It's usually 4. Sometimes 4. It's 5. Well, yeah, once every quarter. But it's too much. Wrestling used to be, I want more, but now it's like, I've had too much, please stop. Like,
to that point, I mean, again, and going back into the fact that Raw is 3 hours and SmackDown's 2, why is it SmackDown the ones doing qualifying matches for the Survivor Series teams when the match only lasts 2 or 3 minutes? Because again, you got to cram everything on SmackDown into a shorter window. This is kind of back to my old point of, well, maybe not everybody gets to be on every show, but that way things are stretched out better. Wherein, let's have Carmella and Naomi be a 10-minute match, and then maybe we don't get a segment where with a tag team, but maybe we can do that on main event instead, or maybe we can just save that for next week. Like, does every person have to be on every show?
It's bad.
Every
episode?
Bad,
and it's not good, to say the least.
And then again, the opposite problem on Raw, where you're going to have really long extended segments with certain people in certain feuds, and then and then again they're either going to work or they're not, and if they don't, that's where people start to tune out, and they do have a better alternative on Monday nights, and as far as things like sports and other things like that.
Have you been watching the Monday night games?
I mean, here's the other thing about that. Well, hold on. I'm going to actually throw some statistics at you. The Monday night games, on average, are down 25%. I mean, in ratings. So while we're sitting here going, oh, God, why is the Raw rating so bad? And, oh, God, why is the SmackDown rating so bad? Well, the NFL ain't doing any much better either. And that's on free TV. That's Monday night is on free TV. You can, isn't it still on
it's on
a channel?
It's on ESPN. Yeah. I mean, it's on cable.
Never mind.
The same way that, well, it's on you can switch to ESPN the same way you can switch to USA on basic cable.
Right.
But, I think, again, if the point of the brand split is to get more people more exposure and everything, they need to, balance it out better. And I don't think that's why a part of me in the back of my mind is a little bit scared about the cruiserweights going to SmackDown, because now the cruiserweights who are known for their fast-paced, high-action yet somewhat extended matches. I mean, let's say a cruiserweight match lasts 5 minutes, and all those crazy spots happen in 5 minutes. To me, that's more risk of injury. I
think, but honestly, if you break down how much time they've spent on Raw with the cruiserweights to how much time they'll have with that new show, they'll have a little bit more time actually to do stuff. And they don't want to burn, if they've only got like 10 guys for the show, they're not going to want to burn through them that fast. I think we're going to see like 2 matches a week, maybe 3, and some more storylines with all of them. And that was the direction they were heading anyway. They're just kind of saying, get the fuck off of Raw, and then they put it all on one show.
I think overall that's fair, but I think at the same time they just need to balance it out better. I think, honestly, it's easier with the cruiserweights because they have maybe one real storyline going on, and that's for the title. And then you can put on a 10-minute cruiserweight match and know it's going to kind of set people alight. You could put the same cruiserweight match on, because how many times have they done that 6-man tag now with, Swan and versus Gulak and the heels,
Right. All right, so that's it for the 15-minute time limit. We kind of rambled there for today, but, we're just kind of like with everything right now.
I mean, it's something we should talk about, though.
Well, it's definitely, this is presumably the one time of the year where they're really gonna be Raw versus SmackDown, because they make mention of it, but as far as an actual match and everything.
Right. All right, so time for the Dairy Queen drive-through.
Yeah.
Right, and with the ratings.
Dairy Queen.
That's all, folks. Vassar ratings.
Speaking of Dairy Queen, I had a blizzard today and it was delicious.
Did they turn it upside down?
Yes. I was kind of sad when they did because I was hoping I'd get a free one. But anyways, now for the ratings. Starting off as usual is TNA Impact with 359,000 viewers, down from the 362,000 the week previous. On to Raw, 2.767 million viewers, up 6.4% from the 2.6 million the week previous. And finally, SmackDown, 1.921 million, down from the 2.187 million the week previous. And that is it for the ratings.
Well, considering that was election night, that's not terribly surprising. Birthdays. This week it'll be... Dog, did you do it last week?
What's up?
Did you do birthdays last week?
Probably not, but I don't remember.
That was me, I'm pretty sure.
That was you? All right, Dog, you're doing birthdays then.
Oh, shit, sorry. I lost the format. All right.
Right there. It's under there. Keep clicking. There you go.
I know. Okay.
You got it.
I got it.
Come on.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday on this, the 10th of November, to Dave Christ, Katie Lee Birchill, Jushin Thunder Liger, Bill DeMott, Cowboy Bob Orton, and the big guy himself, Ryback. That is one hell of a group of birthdays. Happy birthday is on the 11th to Crystal Marshall and to Van Hammer. Happy birthday on the 12th to Trent Acid, Disco Inferno, Electra, Lena Yada, and Matt Capitelli, probably more commonly known as... Wait, that's Matt Cross, right?
No, that is not Matt Cross.
Sorry.
That is the kid that won Tough Enough 3.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And had the cancer.
Yeah. Sorry. I was confused with this too. And happy birthday on the 13th to Sarah Del Rey and to Hiroshi Tanahashi. Once in a century birthday to him on the 13th of this November. Happy birthday on the 14th to another former Japanese star, Matt Bloom, a.k.a. Albert, a.k.a. Prince Albert, a.k.a. the A-Train, and Giant Bernard as well. And then happy birthday on the 15th to this is the greatest birthday day of all fucking time right here. Happy birthday on the 15th to the one and fucking only Sima. And happy birthday also to the Macho Man, Randy Savage. And apparently if you were born on the 15th of November, you just get incredible charisma.
Right.
And those are the birthdays.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this week in wrestling history, circa 1952, where Lucky Semnovich and Gino Garibaldi defeat Bob Langevin and Rom Rice for the vacant Hawaii Tag Team title in Honolulu, Hawaii. Jump to 1968, where Kintaro Oki defeats Buddy Austin for the vacant All-Asia Heavyweight title in Seoul, South Korea. The title had been vacant since late 1963 following the death of then-champion Ricky Dozan. And in 1999, Scott Hall defeats Bret Hart, Sid Vicious, and Goldberg for the vacant WCW US Heavyweight title in a ladder match in Indianapolis, Indiana, starting his second title reign. And that was This Week in Wrestling History.
Happy trails. Happy trails this week to Kid Cash, who called out CM Punk for an MMA fight before competing in his first fight since 2008 at Valor Fights 38 and lost that fight in just 39 seconds. 39 seconds.
He got knocked the fuck out. It was great.
Happy trails to The Undertaker, who waited for over an hour to meet LeBron James for a photo op after WWE sent him to a game, but never did. A Cleveland.com reporter pointed out that unless you were part of a certain company or a sick child, James has little interest in meeting anyone. And happy trails to Sunny, who remains incarcerated until her sentencing on November 18th due to numerous charges and probation violations. It looks like she could be headed to prison. What should we watch this week in wrestling? WFC Masters.
Putting me on the spot, aren't we? You know what?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to suggest a good classic match that I suggested last week. Hillary versus... Not Hillary. No, I didn't recommend Hillary last week. I recommended Donald Trump versus Rosie O'Donnell. This week, I recommend Hillary versus Barack Obama because I like inflicting pain on people. So enjoy that match.
Vassar, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Just give me a second.
Well, I'll go ahead and go. We talked about the match earlier. The Killer from Hell match. Yeah.
Again.
Go watch a dog poop.
Yeah, go watch me poop.
What should we watch this week in wrestling?
I think I've mentioned it before, but with Survivor Series coming up, the winner takes all match from Survivor Series 2001, which was the official end of the Invasion angle, as Team WWF obtained a victory thanks to a last-second swing voter.
Oh my god. Dog, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
I actually really like that Invasion match for some reason. I like that whole pay-per-view, but I know I'm in the minority with that. You should watch a match that entertained me probably more than any other match this year, start to finish, and is going to go down as a personal favorite of mine. Masquerita Dorada versus Famous B in a Believers Backlash match in Lucha Underground, but instead of them having straps, they all bring a various weapon to the ring. And holy shit, this is the funniest match I've watched in fucking since just forever.
Let's see here. This week, I'm going to suggest actually the Grave Consequences match from last night from Lucha Underground, because that coffin spot and the lady after that was fucking hilarious. Like, I just lost my goddamn mind. I was like, oh, this match is great. And then I saw the lady go, oh, and cringed. It was, just fucking hilarious.
I just want to say, if anyone's been really pissy about Lucha Underground spoilers and one certain superstar, she's not on the show at all. And it really is, it's a fucking great show. So watch it.
If I ever become a booker, I want to do a battle royale, where everybody comes out with a backpack and there's a random weapon inside the backpack. And
wait a minute. And inside the backpack, there's a box, and in the box, in somebody else's backpack, there's a key. And you got to find the right key to your box. So once you find that, you get to find out what you get for winning the match. You could trade boxes and steal the wall.
They've all got shock collars on, and if you exit the ring without being eliminated, if you exit the ring not over the top rope, you get shocked until you get back in the ring.
And do we mention that like 2/3 of the people are blindfolded? And then
you've seen or read Battle Royale, haven't you?
Man, I knew TNA was getting desperate, but I didn't realize how desperate.
Oh no, that's just the promotion that Russo's doing on Colorado.
No, I know.
Jesus Christ!
But doesn't it sound like a TNA gimmick? It
sounds like a TNA gimmick.
It sounds like.
It's feast or fire, dude. I mean, come on, that's totally feast or fired.
It's like feast or fired plus the reverse battle royale.
You wouldn't be criticizing if DDT did it.
Nope, because DDT would do it classy. Duh.
Yeah, and because I can't understand the stupid things their commentators are saying.
That too. All right, so that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. We'd like to thank, once again, podcastthemes.com for our theme. You can check us out online, facebook.com, twitter.com, patreon.com/Smark Snark, SRS podcast. If you want to call into the show, leave a message. We'll play it on the show. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Twitter, Facebook, smarksnark.com.
Yeah, we did that. Come on, pay attention, Jacob. Jesus Christ. All right, so that's it. So, say we wish you well in your past, present, and future endeavors.
A good night to all of Florida. We owe you one.